In this video, I want to walk through the user interface of the GFL-1500. First button we have is the power button, the green button on the bottom left. Holding it down turns the device on, and you can see there's an audio alarm there as well. The next button impacts the sound. You can see the sound display in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. Right now it's on maximum sound. If I hit the sound button once, it will reduce by one level and continue down until it's muted. If I want to just go directly to mute, I can also hit the sound button for 3 seconds, and then it will mute the sound. I'm going to keep it muted so we don't have to keep listening to the button sound. Setup gives me access to the different parameters I can change in the device. The first one is the brightness setting. In order to go into any one of these settings, I want to hit the Enter Info button here. Once I'm in the setting, I can use the Mode button as the down arrow and Test as the up arrow, so I can reduce the brightness of the screen or increase it as I need. To exit this screen, you hit the Setup button, which is also the Exit button. The next choice is the language. I hit the Mode button to go down. I hit Info or Enter to go into it, and I can change the language to the language that I need. You would hit the Mode button to go down, and the Test button is your up arrow. And then hit Enter when you're done, and it will go back to the settings screen. The next one is firmware. If I go down button and then hit Enter, I can go into the firmware. Then I can connect to the TrueTest desktop software and upgrade the firmware from there. I hit Setup to go back to the Setup menu. The final option in the setup is the module number. You can input the module number in 2 ways, either in this Setup menu, or you can do it in the Analyze function after you've done the test by hitting the Info button. Here I can hit Enter, and I can add the number of modules that I have in the strings in which I am testing. I use Test for the up arrow, Mode for the down arrow, and Trace will move from left to right. I can go up to 99 modules in the string in this Setup menu. Once I have the number of modules I want, I hit the Info button for Enter, and it brings me back to the Setup menu. Hitting Exit will return me back to the main menu of the function that I'm in. Analyze function, the only option is to do test. That will run the Analyze function, and then it will give me more information based on the test results. In the fault function, I can use either positive to ground or negative to ground based on the configuration and the workflow that I have. I also have a high and low mode in the send. The signal also has a couple options. I can switch mode using the Mode button. By default, it's sourcing the signal from the array at a high signal level. If I hit Mode one time, it will switch to sourcing the signal from the unit. You can see the unit with the arrow that goes towards the array. The third option is auto, where it will switch back and forth between array or unit sourcing depending on voltages present. In order to use the array source, it needs voltage above 30 volts DC. We recommend manually using either array mode or unit mode so that it doesn't switch back and forth between the two. And if you have array voltage, use the array mode as it gives a stronger signal. In some cases, for example, installations with high parasitic capacitance where you're seeing a signal across the array, you can hold the Mode button down for 2 seconds and it will switch it from a high signal to a low signal. The low signal, because it has a lower current value, will flow through high resistance connections easier than the high signal. In The cases of solid ground faults with low resistance, the high mode will typically be more effective. Holding it down for 2 more seconds will return it back to high mode. When I switch to negative, you can see that the symbol will switch from the positive side to the negative side, and the symbol at the top switches from positive to negative as well. That means it's injecting the signal from the negative side to the ground. In the open function, I'm looking for a circuit that has a break in it. Since there's no voltage present because it's not a complete circuit, I have to use unit mode. So it's sourcing the signal from the unit to the array. I can inject the signal on either the positive or the negative side. And remember, in open mode, I need to isolate that circuit from other circuits. So in most cases, you're going to do that by removing positive fuses, which means I'm going to want to inject the signal on the negative side. If I have fuses on the negative side, I can isolate there and switch to the positive function. And you can see that changes here. We have the positive symbol here and the positive symbol at the top as well. Finally, the map function is used to identify circuits within an array. When I use map function, it's going to inject the signal, and the signal is going to go anywhere circuits are connected in parallel. So I need to isolate the circuit that I want to map. I can do that by removing fuses on either the positive side or the negative side. In map mode, I have the option of sourcing the signal from the array or from the unit. And you can see in map mode here, it defaults to auto sensing. If voltage is present, it will source the signal from the array. If there is no voltage present, it will source it from the transmitter. So that's how the user interface of the GFL-1500 works. If you have questions on how the functions work or are looking for more details, please see our other videos on the specific topics and functions of the GFL-1500. And finally, we hold the power button to turn the unit off. And it's important to know that the GFL-1500 does not have an auto off feature. So if you don't manually turn it off, it will remain on until the battery is fully discharged.